The mind is a powerful tool, capable of shaping our reality and determining the course of our lives. Yet too often we underestimate the influence of our thoughts. We go through our days barely noticing the constant stream of inner dialogue that runs in the background of our minds. This inner dialogue, made up of our beliefs, perceptions, fears, and doubts, quietly but relentlessly guides our choices and actions. When these thoughts are negative, they can slowly erode our confidence, limit our potential, and trap us in a cycle of self-doubt. To break free from this mental prison, the first step is becoming aware of the power of our thoughts. Imagine waking up each day and looking through a pair of tinted glasses. If the lenses are cloudy and distorted, everything you see will seem darker, less vibrant, and more difficult to navigate. These tinted lenses are your negative thoughts. They color the way you perceive the world, the people around you, and most importantly, yourself. If you allow these negative thoughts to dominate your mind, you will find yourself seeing only obstacles instead of opportunities, only failures instead of lessons, and only limitations instead of potential. This is the weight of negative thinking. It doesn't just hold you back, it redefines your entire experience of life. But here's the truth: your thoughts are not facts. They are fleeting, ever-changing mental patterns shaped by past experiences, emotions, and your environment. Yet, despite their fluid nature, thoughts can become deeply ingrained beliefs if we allow them to go unchallenged. And when those beliefs are negative, they form the foundation of a self-sabotaging mindset. Think about how often you find yourself thinking, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I'll never succeed. These are not facts, they are stories you tell yourself. Stories that, when repeated often enough, become the script by which you live your life. They limit you from taking risks, pursuing dreams, and achieving your potential. The key to breaking free from this destructive pattern is awareness, the simple but profound act of recognizing when your thoughts are working against you. Awareness begins by tuning into your inner dialogue. It's about pausing, listening, and identifying when negative thoughts arise. Maybe it's before a big presentation, a job interview, or even just a challenging conversation. In those moments, your mind may whisper, what if I mess up, or they won't like me? Without awareness, these thoughts slip by unnoticed, but their impact is felt in your hesitation, your anxiety, and your lack of confidence. With awareness, however, you can catch these thoughts in the act and question them. Why do I think I'll mess up? What's the evidence for that? Or why do I assume they won't like me? Isn't that just my fear speaking? By asking these questions, you create space between the thought and the reaction. In that space, you gain control. You begin to realize that just because a thought arises doesn't mean it has to be believed or acted upon. It's merely a product of your mind. And you have the power to let it go, replace it, or reshape it. The beauty of awareness is that it allows you to choose. Instead of being a passive victim of your thoughts, you become an active participant in shaping your mental landscape. You can decide whether to focus on the negative or to shift your attention to something more empowering. This shift doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means recognizing that your perception of those challenges is what determines your response to them. Where one person might see failure, another might see an opportunity for growth. Where one person might feel overwhelmed, another might see a chance to build resilience. The difference lies not in the situation, but in the thoughts that frame it. Consider how this awareness can change the trajectory of your life. When you become conscious of the power of your thoughts, you can start to take control of the narrative. You can rewrite the stories you've been telling yourself. Instead of, I'm not good enough, you can start to tell yourself, I'm learning and growing. Instead of, I'll never succeed, you can tell yourself, every step brings me closer to my goal. These are not just words, they are new patterns of thinking that, when repeated, become new beliefs. And new beliefs lead to new actions, which lead to new results. The process of becoming aware of your thoughts isn't always easy. It requires mindfulness, patience, and practice. Our minds are busy places, often running on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts day in and day out. But with intention, you can begin to slow down that mental chatter and observe it. One powerful way to cultivate this awareness is through mindfulness practices like meditation or journaling. Meditation allows you to sit quietly with your thoughts, observing them without judgment. and learning to let them pass by without getting caught up in them. Journaling, on the other hand, gives you a tangible way to explore your thoughts on paper, to see them laid out in front of you. As you build this awareness, you'll start to notice patterns in your thinking and to reflect on their patterns. Maybe you're particularly hard on yourself when things don't go perfectly, or maybe you tend to assume the worst in new situations. These patterns are clues to the deeper beliefs you hold about yourself and the world, and once you recognize them, you have the power to change them. Awareness is not about eliminating negative thoughts altogether. That's impossible. And it's not the goal. The goal is to become so aware of your thoughts that they no longer have the power to control you. You become the observer of your mind, not the servant of it. And in that role, you can consciously choose which thoughts to nurture and which to let go of. The mind is an incredibly powerful force, but it is also malleable. With awareness, you can reshape it, redirect it, and harness its power to serve you rather than sabotage you. The first step is simple: pay attention. Notice when negative thoughts arise, question them, challenge them, and remind yourself that they are not facts, just fleeting impressions. By cultivating this awareness, you take the first step toward reclaiming your power. You begin to see that your thoughts are not the master of your fate. You are. We all have an inner critic, that persistent voice in our head that constantly questions our abilities, undermines our confidence, and amplifies our fears. It tells us we're not good enough, that we'll fail, or that others are better suited for success than we are. The inner critic thrives on negativity, casting doubt on our every move. But here's the thing: the inner critic is not the voice of truth. It's the voice of fear, insecurity, and past experiences trying to protect us from perceived failure or disappointment. To break free from its grip, we must learn to challenge it and separate fact from fiction. The inner critic often takes small moments of difficulty or failure and magnifies them into sweeping generalizations about our entire lives. For example, a single mistake at work might lead to thoughts like, "I'm terrible at my job," or "I'll never be successful." These are not objective facts, they are distortions. Our minds tend to jump to conclusions, exaggerating the negative while ignoring the positive. This mental habit is known as cognitive distortion, and it's a favorite tool of the inner critic. To challenge the inner critic, we need to first recognize when it's speaking. Awareness is key. Notice the language it uses. It often speaks in absolutes like always or never. It exaggerates and catastrophizes, making you feel as though one setback defines your entire worth. When you catch yourself thinking this way, pause and ask, is this really true? Where's the evidence? Let's say your inner critic tells you, "I'll never be good at public speaking." Instead of accepting that statement as fact, challenge it. Ask yourself, what proof do I have that I'll never improve? Maybe you've stumbled in a few presentations, but have there been times when you've done well? Have you received positive feedback? Have you improved over time? By questioning the inner critic, you expose its lack of solid evidence and start to see the reality beyond its negativity. Another effective way to challenge the inner critic is to reframe its harsh judgments into more balanced, constructive thoughts. Instead of thinking, "I'm terrible at this shift," to "I'm learning, and every experience helps me improve." Reframing doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means recognizing that your inner critic is only telling part of the story, and you have the power to rewrite the narrative. One more important thing to remember: the inner critic often echoes external voices from our past teachers, parents, peers, people who may have criticized or doubted us. Their words, though long gone, live on in our minds, disguised as our own thoughts. By challenging the inner critic, you're also liberating yourself from those old, unhelpful narratives. The inner critic may always be a part of you, but it doesn't have to control you. By separating fact from fiction, questioning its claims, and reframing its negativity, you can quiet that voice and empower the part of you that believes in your potential. Life is full of obstacles, challenges that test our resolve, push us to our limits, and sometimes make us question our abilities. While we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This is the essence of reframing the narrative, taking what might seem like a setback, a failure or an insurmountable challenge and viewing it through a different lens. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, we can transform them into opportunities for growth, learning, and success. The way we choose to interpret these moments makes all the difference. At the heart of this shift in thinking is the understanding that perception shapes reality. Two people can experience the same event, yet their interpretations can be vastly different. One may see a failed attempt as a reason to give up, while another may see it as a chance to learn and improve. The difference lies in their narrative, the story they tell themselves about what that experience means. Take, for example, the story of Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his repeated failures, Edison didn't see them as wasted efforts. Instead, he reframed the narrative saying, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This mindset shift allowed him to persist when others might have given up. He didn't view his failures as a reflection of his capabilities, but as essential steps on the path to success. In the same way, when we reframe our challenges, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and solutions. Obstacles, by their very nature, force us to confront our limitations, but they also push us to grow. When we encounter a problem, we're presented with a choice. We can either focus on what's wrong or look for the lessons within the challenge. Reframing the narrative means shifting from a problem-focused mindset to a solution-focused one. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this, or how can this experience make me stronger?" This shift doesn't mean ignoring pain, frustration, or difficulty. It's about acknowledging those feelings, but choosing not to be defined by them. It's recognizing that within every obstacle lies the seed of opportunity, an opportunity to learn something new, develop resilience, or discover a different path forward. When you view challenges this way, they lose their power to defeat you. Instead, they become stepping stones on your journey. Reframing the narrative also builds mental toughness. Each time you consciously choose to see an obstacle as an opportunity, you strengthen your ability to adapt and persevere. Over time, you become more resilient, less likely to be derailed by setbacks, and more confident in your ability to overcome adversity. Reframing the narrative is about empowerment. It's about taking control of the story you tell yourself, shifting from a mindset of limitation to one of possibility. Every obstacle, no matter how daunting, holds within it the potential for growth. It's up to you to see that potential, seize it, and turn it into an opportunity for something greater. In a world that often glorifies perfection, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we must do everything flawlessly to be successful. We're bombarded with images of perfect lives on social media, stories of overnight successes, and the pressure to meet high standards in every aspect of life. But the pursuit of perfection can be paralyzing. It can prevent us from taking action, trying new things, or even celebrating our achievements. Instead of chasing an unattainable ideal, we should focus on progress, the steady, meaningful steps we take toward our goals. Progress, not perfection, is where true growth and success lie. The quest for perfection is often rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not being good enough. When we strive for perfection, we set ourselves up for disappointment because perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of ups and downs. Expecting everything to go perfectly all the time is unrealistic and unfair to ourselves. It's in the mistakes, the challenges, and the imperfections that we learn, grow, and improve. When we shift our focus to progress, we embrace the journey rather than obsessing over the destination. Focusing on progress means valuing small, incremental improvements over time. It's about recognizing that every step forward, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. This mindset allows us to appreciate the process of learning and growth. When we're focused on progress, we can celebrate our efforts and resilience rather than dwelling on where we fall short. Progress builds momentum. The more we acknowledge and appreciate our advancements, the more motivated we become to continue moving forward. Think about a time when you learned something new. Whether it was a skill, a hobby, or a challenging project at work, you didn't become an expert overnight. You probably made mistakes, encountered difficulties, and felt frustrated along the way. But with each attempt, you improved. That's progress. It's not about getting everything right the first time. It's about getting better with each try. This principle applies to all areas of life, from personal growth and career development to relationships and health. Progress is what moves us forward, even when perfection feels out of reach. One of the dangers of perfectionism is that it can lead to procrastination or avoidance. When we're fixated on doing something perfectly, we might delay starting because we're afraid of not being able to meet our own high standards. This leads to stagnation. On the other hand, focusing on progress encourages us to take action, even if it's imperfect. The act of starting, trying, and learning as we go is what ultimately leads to success. Focusing on progress fosters self-compassion. It allows us to be kinder to ourselves when things don't go exactly as planned. Instead of criticizing ourselves for not being perfect, we can acknowledge our efforts and growth. This mindset shift creates a healthier, more sustainable approach to life and work. In the end, perfection is not the goal. Progress is. It's about becoming better, stronger, and wiser over time. When we let go of the need to be perfect, we free ourselves to take risks, embrace challenges, and truly grow. Celebrate your progress. Each small step brings you closer to your dreams, and that is where the real success lies. In a world that often glorifies perfection, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we must do everything flawlessly to be successful. We're bombarded with images of perfect lives on social media, stories of overnight successes, and the pressure to meet high standards in every aspect of life. But the pursuit of perfection can be paralyzing. It can prevent us from taking action, trying new things, or even celebrating our achievements. Instead of chasing an unattainable ideal, we should focus on progress, the steady, meaningful steps we take toward our goals. Progress, not perfection, is where true growth and success lie. The quest for perfection is often rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not being good enough. When we strive for perfection, we set ourselves up for disappointment because perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of ups and downs. Expecting everything to go perfectly all the time is unrealistic and unfair to ourselves. It's in the mistakes, the challenges, and the imperfections that we learn, grow, and improve. When we shift our focus to progress, we embrace the journey rather than obsessing over the destination. Focusing on progress means valuing small, incremental improvements over time. It's about recognizing that every step forward, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. This mindset allows us to appreciate the process of learning and growth. When we're focused on progress, we can celebrate our efforts and resilience rather than dwelling on where we fall short. Progress builds momentum. The more we acknowledge and appreciate our advancements, the more motivated we become to continue moving forward. I think about a time when you learned something new, whether it was a skill, a hobby, or a challenging project at work. You didn't become an expert overnight. You probably made mistakes, encountered difficulties, and felt frustrated along the way. But with each attempt, you improved. That's progress. It's not about getting everything right the first time. It's about getting better with each try. This principle applies to all areas of life, from personal growth and career development to relationships and health. Progress is what moves us forward, even when perfection feels out of reach. One of the dangers of perfectionism is that it can lead to procrastination or avoidance. When we're fixated on doing something perfectly, we might delay starting because we're afraid of not being able to meet our own high standards. This leads to stagnation. On the other hand, focusing on progress encourages us to take action, even if it's imperfect. The act of starting, trying, and learning as we go is what ultimately leads to success. Focusing on progress fosters self-compassion. It allows us to be kinder to ourselves when things don't go exactly as planned. Instead of criticizing ourselves for not being perfect, we can acknowledge our efforts and growth. This mindset shift creates a healthier, more sustainable approach to life and work. In the end, perfection is not the goal. Progress is. It's about becoming better, stronger, and wiser over time. When we let go of the need to be perfect, we free ourselves to take risks, embrace challenges, and truly grow. Celebrate your progress. Each small step brings you closer to your dreams. And that is where the real success lies. The environment you choose to immerse yourself in plays a significant role in shaping your mindset, emotions, and ultimately your life. Surrounding yourself with positivity is one of the most powerful ways to fuel personal growth, boost mental well-being, and build resilience against life's inevitable challenges. The people you interact with, the content you consume, and the energy you invite into your space can either lift you up or weigh you down. When you consciously choose to surround yourself with positivity, you create a support system that encourages you to strive for more, maintain a hopeful outlook, and keep moving forward. The people you spend the most time with are key influences on your attitude and outlook. This is why the saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," holds so much truth. Positive people exude an energy that is contagious. They inspire, motivate, and bring out the best in you, encouraging you to aim higher and stay focused on what's possible rather than what's wrong. When you're surrounded by individuals who are optimistic, supportive, and uplifting, you're more likely to adopt those same qualities. They remind you of your strengths, help you see opportunities where others see challenges, and provide a safe space to grow and evolve. On the flip side, negativity can be just as contagious. If you're constantly around people who complain, criticize, or spread doubt, their mindset will start to affect you. Over time, it becomes difficult to maintain a positive outlook when negativity is all around you. Negative influences can drain your energy, make you second-guess yourself, and even pull you away from your goals. This is why it's essential to recognize when certain relationships or environments are no longer serving you and make the necessary changes. Surrounding yourself with positivity doesn't just apply to the people in your life, it also extends to the content you consume. In the age of social media, news, and endless digital distractions, it's easy to get caught up in negativity. The stories we watch, the posts we scroll through, and the information we absorb all have an impact on our mental state. By consciously choosing to engage with content that inspires, educates, and uplifts, you can cultivate a more positive mindset. Follow people who share messages of hope, resilience, and personal growth. Read books that broaden your perspective and challenge you to be better. Listen to podcasts or watch videos that fill you with motivation and new ideas. Creating a positive environment also means curating the spaces where you spend your time. Your home, workspace, and even social settings can influence how you feel. Make your surroundings reflect the mindset you want to cultivate. Simple things like keeping your space organized, incorporating calming elements like plants or natural light, or displaying affirmations and reminders of your goals can all help to maintain a positive energy. Surrounding yourself with positivity is about making conscious choices. It's about identifying the people, influences, and environments that bring out your best self and nurture your well-being. By doing so, you create a powerful support system that not only helps you stay focused and motivated, but also allows you to thrive in the face of adversity. When positivity surrounds you, it becomes easier to stay grounded, optimistic, and resilient, essential qualities for leading a fulfilling and successful life.